Hi, this is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse. I have another video that I recorded from 2009. This is the follow-up to the YouTube video I posted a few days ago about Dr. Simeons' HCG protocol. In this demonstration, I'm trying to teach the science of hunger in the brain and how perceived hunger is affected when you're using this HCG with Dr. Simeons' 500 calorie protocol, and why with the specific amount of HCG Dr. Simeons prescribes, which is about 120 IUs, what the science says happens at the in the hypothalamus with leptin, and how the hypothesis I published in Weight Loss Apocalypse in 2011. Again, this is 2009, so I'm explaining this. This is my understanding of it. Anyway, so the hypothesis being that this amount of HCG stimulates enough leptin to make up for what food doesn't do to your endocrine system. So I'm just so glad I found these videos. It's really fun to listen and to watch how I'm explaining it. And I could definitely redo these videos and actually do a better job today. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun for you to see this process of me trying to understand and trying to learn how to teach this. Especially if you've already read Weight Loss Apocalypse and you've already seen my YouTube videos where I talk about the science of HCG and leptin. So, all right, go at it. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Robin with the Mind Body Method and the HCG Weight Loss group on Facebook. This is my second video, and during this video I want to talk about hunger during the protocol, or the difference between hunger on HCG or off HCG. So we are going to talk a lot about the brain, but similar to the first video I talked about, we're going to talk about melanocortin and leptin and how those two hormones work in the brain to control appetite as well as your metabolic rate. So when we talk about the brain, this is not to scale, but here's your brain, basically, okay? Your hypothalamus and anterior pituitary regions, okay? So as you eat, once again, blood glucose levels. As blood glucose levels rise, leptin's levels rise. And there's a little bit of a difference in the brain than in the fat cell. In the fat cell, as leptin levels rose, melanocortin was reduced. Okay, well, in the brain, as leptin levels rise, melanocortin rises. Now, if you remember from the first video, we talked about how melanocortin shuts the door so that fat doesn't have access into mitochondria. Well, melanocortin in the brain is also what I would call a door shutter. It shuts the door or closes access, or I guess you can say it deactivates. Okay? So in the hypothalamus, there's receptors, and these receptors create hunger and appetite. And as you eat, as leptin levels rise, melanocortin rises, and melanocortin shuts the door to those receptors in the brain, so your appetite is reduced. Okay? When your blood glucose levels lower, when you haven't eaten in a long time, as leptin goes down in the brain, melanocortin goes down in the brain, and those doors or receptors into your hunger increase. So typically, if you were to go on a 500 calorie diet without HCG, what you would notice is hunger. I don't know how many of you out there have tried to diet, but you're pretty hungry. Well, the difference here is with HCG, assuming HCG is stimulating leptin. HCG stimulates leptin, okay, at the optimum quantity, quantity dependent. Leptin levels don't have the drop that it normally would with lower blood glucose levels. It's being stimulated not from food but from HCG. So in the brain, leptin levels stay elevated, melanocortin-A in the brain stays elevated, hunger stays depressed. Now let's talk about the thyroid and the anterior pituitary and this whole system. I'm going to try to keep this simple. Normally, as someone goes on a 500 calorie diet or a very low calorie diet or through starvation, what would happen as leptin levels go down is that the signal from the hypothalamus, the thyroid releasing hormone, would be suppressed. And from the anterior pituitary, T3 and T4, or the thyroid hormones, would have a weaker signal, basically weakening the metabolic signal to the body and slowing down your body's rate of energy needs. Okay, that's what happens if you were on a normal 500 calorie diet without HCG. Well, if leptin levels are increased, thyroid releasing hormone wouldn't reduce, and then from the thyroid down, everything would improve. So the control of your metabolic rate from the brain would stay elevated even though your calories are reduced and your blood sugar levels reduce. And it's all about leptin. Okay? If you haven't noticed, leptin in the end is what, for the most part, creates energy homeostasis in the body, and it adapts to food intake, and it adapts to loss of food intake, and it adapts not only at the fat cell but also in the brain. So when people talk about Dr. Simeons and resetting the hypothalamus, I'm not quite sure I understand that as much. I don't think, obviously Dr. Simeons didn't know about leptin. Leptin was discovered in 1994, so 15 years ago. So he probably didn't have words to explain what he was observing. So now that we're here in 2009, creeping on to 2010, how can we take modern day science and explain his observations? And what I've come to find is that most of the work that's happening during the first phase of the protocol is not so much in the brain as it is at the actual fat cell. And I explained that on my last video. So for those of you who want more information, once again, you can go to my website, www.mindbodyhcg.com, or just post it on Facebook.